Most beginners completely ignore level 2, and others stare at it like they're in the matrix. And neither one of those things are helping you. But it's really simple. It's just two lists, a list of people that want to buy a stock and a list of people that want to sell the stock. That's it. Okay. So in this video, I'm going to break it down, explain level 2, the very basic concept. It is kind of complicated, but I'm going to break it down in terms of the most basic concepts so that you at least have an idea of what you're looking at. And really just taking time to watch level 2 is very, very helpful. It'll help you understand your entries a lot better instead of just guessing. Okay, what is level 2? Like I said, it's two lists of people that want to buy and sell. So let me show you on Thinkorswim. Okay, this is actually a stock that I traded this morning. This is my layout in Thinkorswim. I generally keep this a lot smaller, but I've enlarged it for the purposes of our discussion. Over here is the time and sales. Now, what you need to know is that you use this column, the time and sales. These are the orders coming in, the actual orders, in conjunction with level 2. However, I'm not going to explain the time and sales today. I did a separate video on that, and you can go and watch that video. I'll put it at the end of this video. And this here is level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is just the top part. And level 1 is simply, there's a couple of things here, but it shows the market price and the bid and the ask. Okay. Level 2 goes into more depth on the bid and the ask. So just imagine this. Imagine, I'm going to go back to my wedding dress analogy. I don't know if this will resonate with all of my viewers, but imagine that you're selling, you've already had your wedding and you want to sell your wedding dress. Okay. And 3 women show up. Okay. Now you want to sell your wedding dress for $100, but one woman shows up and she's like, I'll pay $95 for that dress. Woman number 2 shows up. She says, I'll offer you $90 for that dress. And the third woman shows up and says, I'll offer you, that dress is trash, but I'll offer you $50. Okay. That's that list of, and then the woman, who's selling the dress, she writes the list down and she says, this woman that's willing to pay $95 for this dress, I'm going to put her at the top of the list. And she orders the list from the person who's willing to pay the most to the person who's willing to pay the least. Well, that's what this is. Okay. Oh, actually, this is, that's what this is. The buy, the bid. Okay. The bid side. These are all the people that want to buy LABT in order of the price they're willing to pay. So this person at the top who went through NASDAQ, these are the ECNs, they're willing to buy 300 shares at $3.38. Okay. And now you have a couple of people that are willing to pay $3.38. But then this fourth person, they're only willing to pay $3.36, but they want to buy 1,400 shares. So this is the list of all the people that want to buy LABT, ordered by the most they're willing to pay to the least with the number of shares they want to buy. Okay. They're sitting there hoping that people will sell to them. They're sitting there waiting. All right. Now, on this side, you have all the people that are willing to sell shares of LABT. Okay. So now here at the top, you have someone who's willing to sell. Well, it keeps changing. And I picked this one because it's slower moving, but sometimes it's moving so rapidly. And that's what really puts people off. I know I'm going off in a tangent, but that's what kind of intimidates people. So when you're learning how to watch it, try to look for stocks that have a slow moving level 2. The afternoon is a good time to look. So here, someone went through NASDAQ. They are willing to sell 300 shares at $3.39 and so on and so forth. Down here, this person down here, they want to sell 100 shares at $4.40. They're willing to wait. They're willing to wait until the price goes up and someone wants to buy those shares. Okay. So that's essentially what it is. It's just a list of buyers and sellers and the prices they're willing to buy and sell at. they put the orders out there. Okay, they're not initiating the sale. They're putting that out there. They're saying, hey, does anybody want to sell me these shares at this price? I'm willing to buy shares at this price. And the sellers are saying, I'm willing to sell them at this price. All right. Now, you might notice that the price at the top of the bid and the price at the top of the ask are different. Okay, because the people who want to sell shares, they're only willing to go down as low as $3.38. And the people who want to buy shares are only willing to pay as much as $3.37. This difference is called the spread. Okay, that's a lot of times deals are made somewhere in the middle. Okay, so when you look at the time in sales, we'll just hop over here for a quick second. You can see that now on Thinkorswim, they color code the time in sales, which I went over in my other videos, so you can watch that. And I will do a video eventually where I sort of talk about combining the two and how they work together. But suffice it to say that anytime an order is filled on either side of the level 2, it will show up over here on the time in sales. Okay. So again, the gap between the bid and the ask is called the spread. And this is what I want you to understand about the spread. And this is why one of the things that's important about the level 2 is that if I buy, okay, this is someone who wants to sell 500 shares at $3.38. If I buy 100 of those shares at this price at $3.38, and the price goes up, I'm probably going to sell it on the ask for one of these other prices down here. But if the price goes down or I want to get out quickly, I'm going to have to sell those shares for $3.37. That's not so bad. That's only a penny difference. But if you look at another stock that's moving more slowly, look at this one. This one has a 5-cent difference. And you'll see some stocks that have, well, this one's a tight spread. This one's a bigger spread, 8 cents. Okay, so the top seller is only willing to sell their shares for $7.58. The top buyer is only willing to buy at $7.50. So a tight gap means a lot of people are trading the stock and the prices are really close, but a wide gap means less people are trading it. And you might get a bad fill. Okay, you might get a bad fill. So a lot of times what you really want to look for is a tighter spread. Okay, so what to ignore for now? There's a lot going on the level 2. I'll be honest, it's confusing. This video might not even clarify the basics, to be honest. It's very confusing. It takes time. You need to watch level 2 a lot, okay? But I want to ease your mind that you don't have to understand everything immediately on level 2 for it to help you, okay? There's a lot that you can kind of ignore, all right? You can ignore all these names of the ECNs, okay, the market makers. You don't have to worry about the market maker codes. You don't really even have to worry so much about share size. I'll explain that later, okay? You don't have to even worry about speed or something we call depth, which is how many people are at that price. See here, there's a lot of people at $3.38. That means that it's deeper, right? So there's a lot of things going on in level 2, but you really don't have to focus on all of those things as an absolute beginner, okay? The one thing I really, really want you to take away is the concept of a list of buyers over here on the left and a list of sellers, okay? And I just really want you to think about it in terms of something actually happening. It's really easy when everything's digital to get disconnected and think that something's not happening, but these are actual orders from actual people, right? And it really helped me to start thinking about that. Okay, real orders from real people. Not all the orders will show up on the level 2. More advanced brokers will allow retail traders to place their orders hidden from the level 2, okay? And that is an advantage for sure. Um, but those orders, when they're filled, they still show up in the time and sales. So there is a way to identify hidden sellers, but we won't go over that right now. So that's the thing that I really want you to remember is these are real orders placed on the level 2. Now you'll see orders popping off and on, right? So let's just say that you placed an order, you'll see it on the level 2. You'll see it on the level 2, and that's so fun to see your own order on the level 2. And you'll see it on there until it's filled, and then it will go on the time and sales. Okay, so the first thing is that you have a real list of buyers, a real list of sellers, what they're actually willing to pay to buy the shares, what they're really willing to pay to sell the shares, and then the difference between these two prices matters. Okay, that's something you absolutely want to look at. All right, I don't want to go into too much depth on the level 2. It gets really confusing, but I'm telling you, try to master this beginning level, okay? And just spend some time watching. That's really important. It's so important to spend some time watching. I will be doing more videos about this coming up because level 2 is really important. And I will also be doing a video about how the level 2 and the time and sales work together because they do. But suffice it to say, don't ignore it. Please, I did for a long time. And now I honestly cannot trade without level 2. I couldn't. I don't think I could. Yeah, honestly, I don't think I could trade without the level 2. I really couldn't. It would just be like flying blind at this point. Okay, so that's a wrap for this video. And like I said, I'll link the time and sales video at the end here. So that'll give you a little bit of information about that. And I will be posting more videos on the weekend about topics that I'm interested in exploring deeper and that I want to explain to you guys. And stay tuned for recaps after my daily trading sessions. And that's pretty much it. All right, guys, trade smart.